Hey guys, 54 New Star here with another video for Sakara's YouTube page. And this is actually dealing with something that I've been getting a whole lot of requests for. This is tile maps. So tile maps are really awesome because they keep your frame rate low, they keep the CPU usage low, and they keep the amount of objects that you have in a scene down. It also keeps your object types and your items really low so you can search through it a whole lot better. So we're actually going to start off with the background, because every scene needs a background. We're going to do a sci-fi platform background, and then we're going to just move it to the area. Do it till it starts repeating, and then just cut it off there. There we go. Okay, now what we're going to do is enter the new object, and we're going to go to General Tile Map. We're going to open. I have a 16 by 16, but we also have a 32 by 32, and we can actually resize inside the engine the height of our selection tool, so we can go down to 2 by 2 pixels if you have a really small asset tile set. Also, a lot of people will often do crop transparent. Sides, I don't do that because that kind of messes me up. And I'm going to show you real quick this tile width. So I can go down to, I'm going to do 16 by 16 because I normally go only down to 8 by 8. So 16 by 16, and suddenly I can select tiny little boxes and just stack them. So zoom in some more, and so we have our scene. But what I'm going to do is select my tile map and go back to 32 by 32. And just erase all this. And then select the box. Start stacking these boxes. And I really love this tool just because you can say, oh, well, I'm not running off an awesome device. Well, you don't really have to worry about that. I'm going to show you a bit later in the debug layout that when you do tile mapping, it keeps your CPU usage low, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I can't play that, or some sort of weird setup, or you have to worry about, oh shoot, when others play this, do I have to worry about them running off of a not so awesome device? No, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because this is just rendering it as two images. It's running it as the tile map scene, and then the background scene. So I'm going to edit out some of these repeating objects real quick. There we go. And I'm going to put some more decorative scenes or things in this scene. So I'm going to put some lights in this area. And then some walls. Oh, one really awesome thing that you can do is, you have an issue where you have to tile a whole area one type of say you wanted a certain cube to be your background, or let's just say you want to create the whole level in in one layer. So only use time lapse, so not even use background images. What you can do is hit this rectangle tool, and then just click and hold on to it, and then you can just stretch it. So there you go. And then what you can do is say, hey, that's my background for this type of scene because it's a wall. You just edit the areas around it to make it more, wallish. And then you can start adding in extra scenes or extra areas. And say, hey, let's go back straight to normal creation. I have this selected area. And then just put the box there. Edit certain box things. So there we go. And then select that. Boom. So I love Construct2's editor. It's really, really nice and something that I really use a lot because it keeps CPU usage down. It allows me even more creative abilities. But I say, hey, I don't want this anymore. I want to see the background. Click right. The erase tool. And then, because you're going to have a little gray box. Boom, done. Let's put a little crate there. Zoom out, so you have like a little elevator that comes down. This is like the starting scene. Maybe it's a menu or a play menu. Where you can play around in it and then you can actually just play the game. Put another little emergency crate there, actually. So voila. So hopefully guys you enjoyed this. I am actually going to hit the debug layout so we can see the frames per second. So we are running at like 60 frames per second. It's only registering 2 objects, which is really, really nice. And so that keeps your frame rate down, allows people to play it, especially if you have a lot of particles or a lot of effects in the scene. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see, you can run the layout and we can, see it. Also, to create these so your characters don't fall through, because if I just insert a basic sprite, so I'm going to insert a basic sprite. Let's go with our soldier guy, and I just want one image. I'm going to crop that, and I'm just going to have him in there. I'm going to go back to a regular mouse, and I'm going to run the layout. I have to actually set platformer. So we're going to go behaviors, add platformer. He's going to fall through the floor. So what do I do at that point? I will go to insert object. I'm going to insert a sprite. I'm going to color it for this time so we can actually see it, but I actually do set a color to it, but then I set the opacity to like 50 so I can see through it, see what I'm doing, and then I'll just literally just block it. So that's one block. Copy paste. Let's put a block over this area. And you don't actually have to cover the whole thing. If it's going to be a totally interactive world, I usually do it. So that I can cover all my bases, because players will try to do everything to see what they can and can't do. And then I'm going to copy paste that. So totally, instead of like creating like dozens or even a couple hundred individual boxes or areas and then having to at that point people usually just create a new scene. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is tile map it, and I could have literally increased our dotted view. That means the area in which you can play around in, to this whole level, and created a whole massive level. And then all I would have had to do is create these little bounding boxes, in which what you do is you select sprite, go to behaviors, add solid, and now every single one of these boxes is solid. That means when I hit run layout, he can't go beyond them. I mean, what I probably would do is create this box a little shorter, so I would go back into the tile editor, and then I would delete this area, go down one more, make it a smaller box, and then select this, make it shorter, go back into play, and then boom, he can play around with that. And then what I would do is add an elevator, and that's how he gets out of this area. So make it like a secret compartment. Also, if we go into debug layout, object count 9, we're still holding at 60 frames per second, which means okay, so we're dropping down. We're still holding at, between 58 and 60 instead of dropping down to 30 and 40, so we're always going to have a high FPS count. Also, it's 9 objects instead of how many? That would have been like 1 box, 2 box, 3 box, 4 box. Or you would gone into a paint editor and created it there and then imported it and then gone back and edited it and gone back to the engine. No, you create everything in Construct 2 with the frame of mind of, I'm going to create this world. I don't have to use any other program. I mean, you probably have to create one or to get the sprites, but if you're just buying the sprites, creating the game, hiring somebody to do the sprites, then creating the game, it's really, really easy to just, have really no worry of, oh shoot, I have to worry about frame rates and multiple objects, and I have to make sure that my game can run on all the platforms. With Construct 2, you don't have to worry about this. It's limited objects that you have to worry about. I mean, literally nothing you have to actually worry about. We went from 2 layers to 9 layers, which is still acceptable. We don't have multiple objects in our scene to worry about frame rate. We can still do particles and everything, and it would all just be good as gold. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please head over to Sakara and request new tutorials or post them down below, and I will do them. So until next time, guys, I'll see you all later.